Yeah, man. Hold on for a minute. Let me get right for a minute, man. Checking my Facebook
Purchase
page
your tracks today.
and my Instagram page and my Snapchat page. We'll get it back.
See you flossing on Instagram, stay posted on Facebook.
It's the I See What You're Doing podcast. I'm Mr. I See What You're Doing, and as always, I see what you're doing.
As always, I see what you're doing. Yo, what up, man? Happy New Year. You know, a lot of stuff in the news right now. Definitely one thing that I had came across. We're gonna get into first, but I just wanted to make sure that I started the year off by saying, if I say something that offends you in this podcast, I'm not sorry. I mean, at this particular point, fellas got to be ruffled, right? And we got to stand on business about what we got going on. So, if I offend you, you probably should. You probably need to be offended. You know, mind you, that's not my intention. By no means am I here to offend any of you because I love you all. You get what I'm saying? But if I offend you, don't tell me. Tell your loved ones or some shit like that. You feel? So, the reason why I said it is because the very first story that I'm going to bring up to you guys is going to be one where somebody's probably going to say, "Oh, look, he's bad on some racist shit," but I'm really not. It just confused me to think that our vice president, right? Our vice president would say something like what he said, and it confused me. So get right into what I'm going to say. Our president, J.D. Vance, publicly stated that Americans don't have to apologize for being white. And it confused the shit out of me because I was like, not all of Americans are white. For those of you that are white, no one ever really needed an apology for you being a race, being Caucasian or being white or whatever the case may be. The connotation behind it is what I'm more concerned about, because why do you feel like that's the thing that you have to say? You know, that you don't have to be, you don't have to apologize for being white. Shit, I get it, because I don't apologize for being black or who I am. Or I don't apologize for the shit that I say. But it's fuel. It's racially fueled. You feel me? It's racially fueled with an ideology that the concern was that every other race in this country faulted white people for being born white, and that's not what it is. Really. It's almost like an insinuation of reverse racism, because the American people are mad at white people for being white. And I'm stop saying that shit right there, because we're going to go into what really should be talked about, right? There has always been, at base minimum, 400 years of slavery in this country, right? And that will be one of the things that I think that us as a nation need to address and heal from. Not the color of your skin, the mentality in your mind. the hatred that is being spewed out in this country. And I'm going to be fair enough to go out and say shit. It possibly is not all coming from white America. I mean, shit. Justified hatred that may come from other outlets. Envy, and those type of things come from all Americans. Remember, he just said Americans don't have to apologize for being white, and that that particular the backside of that statement erased the fact that if they erased Americans altogether, when he could have said white Americans don't have to be to apologize. And we don't want you to apologize for your race. We want you to apologize for 400 years of slavery, discrimination, segregation, throwing little black babies and alligator pump, feeding them to alligators, rape, theft, the list goes on and on. And it's not all white Americans. That's my disclaimer. It's not all white Americans. I don't know why the fuck I started. You're like this, but it's not all white Americans. You feel me? It's separative conversation, right? It's separative. And the thing that comes along with separative is this right here. Why would you have to apologize now for something that you've never been ashamed of? Is that deployed? Yo, check out my shirt right in the midst of it. You see this right here? This one, this guy. This is the reason why we can't go to national parks on Martin Luther King Day and Juneteenth. And I told y'all why that was, right? But I wore the shirt because it says life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for others? Right now, you're pissing a whole lot of people off. The government, for sure. But I saw a lot of people get involved. I saw one of Martin Luther King's daughters get involved, and she wanted to, be combative over what he said. And I said on the last podcast before this one, we picking the wrong fights and the wrong battle. But because I'm here and I'm talking to you right now, right? Skin color does not matter in this particular situation. It's the pride that you have when the narrative fits your lifestyle, right? And then the shame that you have when how you got to have the lifestyle that you have gets pointed out. Now, some hardworking American people that grind from nothing to get to where they at, but then there's some that came from privilege. It came from the sweat of other people. It sounds like work, but I mean, shit. When you have to force someone or physically assault someone or abuse someone to get them to do something, to build a country for you, and then you stand on it and you put it in history books, the idea that white people own black people, y'all were slaves and shit like that, right? To come back now and say you shouldn't have to apologize for being white. You give a fuck about color. I got some cool motherfucking people of all nationalities that I love dearly, like brothers and sisters, But to hear that type of shit, to hear that, that particular statement kind of rubbed me the wrong way. Why does it matter? It matters because the statement reframes racial discourse. That's why it matters. It reframes racial discourse, right? And it also gives room for racial tension. Racial tension. I don't know if that's what's being pushed for right now, but it gives room for racial tension. If you're not level-headed enough to know that that's what's happening, it gives room for racial tension. So here's my closing thing on that, because, well, dear Americans, be proud of who you are. White, black, Chinese, Haitian, whatever you are. Be proud of who you are. Be proud of your history, if you so choose to. If you choose to be ashamed of your history, fine. Be proud of your history, be ashamed of your history. Be whoever the fuck you gonna be in this life from January the 1st until time run out on your life, or you decide to change. You feel? But don't dangle and remind people of the idea that I'm better than you because my skin color is this. And again, it really don't come down to skin color. It comes down to a mentality. This is for people who feel the same way that JD Vance feels. This is for people who don't feel the same way. I don't give two fucks about what the statement was. I just want to know why in the fuck what you said. You know? But moving right along, bum, 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 bum. This shit just get better and better for me. Like, you don't want to feel, you tell people that you don't want to, that America is an equal opportunity, is a land of equal opportunities for everyone. You talk about bootstraps, and remember I talk about bootstraps, pulling yourself up from your bootstraps and living the American dream. And then our president came along and got rid of diversity, equity, and inclusion, and a whole bunch of other shit. And I ran across a story that said the EEOC encourages white men to file discrimination claims. Hold on. Hold on, man. Hold on, man. Shit. I gotta pull myself together. Sorry. Not only the EEOC, but our president encouraged the same type of activity. And my question, and I have a lot of questions. One of them being discrimination from who? Listen, discrimination from who? Who the fuck is discriminating against the people who make all the decisions on the planet? And how does that discrimination get defined? Who's discriminating against you? Happy New Year. So Brian said, Happy New Year, sir. Do you really think we will ever be one world, one nation? Absolutely. Hell yeah, Brian. Shit, yeah. We've always been one nation and one world. That's the smoke screen behind this shit. We've always been one. We've always been one. Listen, there's always been one king or one queen. There's always been one monarch. You can look at the other ones where they say the king of Arabia, the prince of Arabia. There's always been one monarch. So, and America was built on the foundation where people left from under the king, made it to America, stole land from the Indians, created 13 colonies, enslaved people, had a Boston Tea Party because they didn't want to pay taxes. And rebuilt the same or something similar, rebuilt the same political systems as the one they fought to get out from under. And that Boston Tea Party kind of looked like the January 6th insurrection situation, which I wanted to go back into that later on in the thing. But let's just be clear about something while I'm here. Discrimination looks like getting rid of all the programs that allow people to have an equal and fair shot in this country at living the American dream. Affirmative action and civil rights is not just for Black people. I know the smokescreen was that it was for Black people. Martin Luther King marched for civil rights for Black people. Diversity, equity, and inclusion was not just for people of color, Black people, Mexicans, Asians, or whatever. The original laws that were put in place was to allow white women to have a fair shot at living the American dream, being able to go to work and all. And then everybody else got integrated into that. Diversity, equity, and inclusion. You feel it? And this thing, and the crazy shit about it is, if you would get up and file a claim about discrimination, that means that same diversity, equity, and inclusion that Donald Trump took away, you being discriminated on because you're not being included in something, or you not being afforded something. Right? But what do you give to who got everything? How do you include somebody in something that's got everything? No. It wasn't a message like American people or people in general file discrimination claims. Who are you going to file that claim against? You're going to file that claim against your counterparts that own the businesses, own the Microsoft, own the Chase, own the Morgan and Chase, own the JG Wentworth, own the Apples and the T-Mobiles. You discriminating on them because the desire that you have is for all of the executive jobs and all of the positions of power to be given to white American men. That would mean that the people in those positions now those jobs have to be taken from them. No apparent reason other than what they said, what our president said. They've taken all the good jobs. EEOC. These are the government entities that agree with a president that is 5 days away from remembering a revolution on the capital of the United States. Have you all forgotten that? Have you all forgotten that there was an insurrection on January 6th, which is about 5 years removed from that, where Americans that don't have to should not apologize or be ashamed for being white started a mini civil war on the state capitol lawn. because the person that they were rooting for lost. Let that sink in for a minute. Rooting for the man. Brian said, I don't think it will. There's way too much focus on heritage to move forward in every race. White people are even trying to trace theirs and don't realize they are foreigners too. Okay. Hey man, it has never been anything other than. Okay? I can give you an example of what this is. This is the constant family reunion, and all of the motherfucking all of the cousins and shit like that fighting each other. If you trace it back and they trace theirs, and everybody trace their heritage back to one continent, that's science. That's not what we put. I pride myself on being the CEO of a nonprofit called Beyond the Statistics, and what we do is we combat negative statistics in urban communities and all across the country. It's the only one that does it. It's the only one. So if you look for it, can't miss it. But science track the oldest living body. Now watch this. The oldest known human remains. Brian said HNY King just wanted to stop in during their commercial to say hello. Oh, Walter, what up, man? Walter, I thought Brian is active, man. That's my guy. King just wanted to stop it. Hoosiers. Yeah, I'm rooting for the Hoosiers too, right now. But traced it back to Africa and from history and everything else in the world. Black people originated from Africa. So if the oldest human remains were found in Africa, that means that the cradle of creation is Africa. So that means that when you go back and trace your heritage, everybody's heritage goes back to Africa, correct? We got to remember, and I see you got me doing history right now, Brian, but let me show you. Above, between the United States and Russia, the very north of that used to be a barren strait. It was an ice bridge that people used to cross to get to between Russia and America. No, we're not all. Brian said that the white people found out where they really came from. This country could actually unite as we are all foreigners here in this country. Absolutely not. We're not all foreigners. We're not all foreigners. I'll give you a secret. We're not all foreigners, and it was some people already here. It was Indians here already, so they can't be foreigners, right? And then if you do the numbers on and I got to stay on track, Brian, so we're going to address this and then we'll move along. But keep your comments coming because I love those. 12 million slaves. Some of them jumped off ships on the way to America. Most of those slaves were dropped off in South America, Brazil, and all that. Only 380,000 of those particular slaves that they said were enslaved made it to the 13 colonies. So therefore, the people that were already here, in order to populate America with as many people of color or black people, whatever you want to call it, as we have, then you have to know that a major majority of black people that live on this continent or live in this country have a background that's going to take them back to Indian heritage per indigenous people. So just let that sink in for a minute, man, while I continue on with the United States government bombing Nigeria, which was a great segue because we were just talking about the cradle of like Africa, and Nigeria got bombed under the premise that our president was tracking ISIS. We still got a problem with ISIS. That's wild. Like, we still got a problem with ISIS, right? And the premise is this: that Northwest Nigeria is linked to militants. So you will, and the example for militants would be kind of like Osama bin Laden and the Taliban or something like that. You know. And I'm sure that they've been doing it a lot. You know, sure they've been bombing those particular countries for a while. The thing is that this may be the very first time that I've ever come across a story that actually showed that Nigeria had been bombed. You know, and I mean, behind some terrorist shit, ISIS being the terrorist, America dropped some bombs on Nigeria. But you also got to remember that before that, and I think they bombed Nigeria on Christmas Day. But that's not the big thing that I'm concerned about. To be a fly on the wall in some of these rooms when our president has meetings with some of these world leaders, knowing that he had a meeting with the Nigerian president, and words were exchanged, and all of them weren't kind words. Then the bombings happened, and that's what you say. We were hunting militants that were associated with ISIS. And I'm not the biggest conspiracy theory because I've become more refined with my information. Just know that it wasn't about ISIS. Because I mean, shit. When is the last time you actually heard anything about ISIS? You haven't. Brian said, "I'm still shocked. Americans are angry with Trump stealing oil from Venezuela. Love these gas prices going down though." Yeah, I mean, I was just about to go into that, Brian. So again, man, I appreciate it. I was just about to say not one. You said stealing oil. I think we up to 3 refineries that were stolen from Venezuela. But you got to make a deal with Argentina to get close enough to put military there so you can get to Venezuela. You can't steal oil from Venezuela from America. You got to get close enough to be a threat. So the $40 billion wasn't to buy beef from Argentina, and that's like it was so that the United States government get close enough to step on little bro. Step on Venezuela. And I mean, really though, bro, like if you ever thought about Venezuela's economy, they don't really have a whole lot anyway. But shit, we've seen this before. So we shouldn't be surprised with the idea that if you don't give it to us, we'll come take it. Right? Brian said, "I totally agree. I think he gave them an ultimatum. They said no. So he is taking it now. Absolutely. You feel me? Absolutely, Brian. And that's what happens with that. But I mean, listen, so while I'm on that particular subject and the bombing in Nigeria, let me combine both of them together for you. We have a situation where our every avenue, every facet of our government is in disarray, whether you believe it or not. And we have time to go out and harass and be a bully to somebody else when there's stuff in this country that needs to be fixed. You feel me? And when I think about it, I think about the fact that, as I said before, January 6th insurrection anniversary is coming up, and we 5 years into that. Here's the disappointment with our government and both parties, Democrat and Republican. You knew who the president that is sitting in the Oval Office now was because he showed you who he was on his last term. And now you in the office, now you in Congress having secret meetings, because I know you had a secret meeting about filing articles of impeachment. And you was hoping that it worked this time, and it didn't work the first time. And that time I said, I don't believe that. I do believe that people can change. I just don't believe there's a large amount of people that can change. So you took the military and diverted that away from places that really need military protection. Hell, they got a war going in Ukraine right now that from on day one out in that Ukraine and Russian war and shit. We a year out and that shit is still going on. So therefore, I'm totally off key, but I mean, maybe this is where I should be going. We off key on the shit that we need to get done in this country. And there's going to be a State of the Union where you're going to hear all this great shit that's going on in this country. And I mean, you're going to have to use your mind and remember, but no matter what you hear, then you have to remember what you've seen and what you've heard from motherfuckers like me who really get on here and tell you that's not what the fuck is happening. You know? I get it. Counterterrorism, the Taliban, Osama bin Laden. We can remember all that. 9/11, we remember all that. We remember all of those negative things, right? But Nigeria don't really pop up on anybody's radar as being a country that has a whole lot of terrorists. You know. So, and then when you go into these countries, you have to remember the people that you're chasing down. You're not identifying the location where they at. You're not pinpointing where those particular militants are or where ISIS is. You bomb the country where innocent people live. You're dropping bombs on innocent people who have nothing to do with what's going on and nothing to do with the agenda unless that's part of the plan. You feel me? And just like with Venezuela, if you drop a bomb on that particular country and you give them the reason why you're going over there, what's the real motive behind you going over? Like, what is it that you're trying to acquire? Which goes back to Brian's question: will this country one day be one world? Absolutely, absolutely. It has to be. Why would you have a country that's moved towards a one world currency and not have a one world government? You know, why would you do that? That makes no sense. That's just wildest in the north. For you to have a government that doesn't. You have a government that's going to let everyone have the same currency, but not have one system that monitors the whole thing. One government that monitors that currency. China monitors the yen. The U.S. monitors the dollar and drives that motherfucker to shit. Like it's not even as valuable as it's supposed to be. Whatever money Canada is and whoever else got some kind of currency. those particular countries monitor that. But when you start talking crypto and Bitcoin and blockchains and all that, that's one world government movement. That's what that is. It's not different. It's the movement toward one. I saw on the news today, man, where president was pushing to deport Prince William out of America. But he's not even from here. Not even from here. So how would you? Why would that be the thing that's cool right now? We into too much shit is what I'm saying. You feel me? Like I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. We got our hands into too much shit and too much of the wrong shit. You feel me? You know. I mean, shit. It definitely it creates perception that drives behavior. Even when economic measures differ, which means that even though we in a situation economically where our country is going down, you feel me? The money that we have is not backed by a fucking thing. You feel me? And when that goes like that, you have to have something that backs it to make the dollar to lift it, sustain the dollar and lift it back up. And what you would do is you would go get those resources for someone else, you know, because I mean, shit, you almost depleted the resources in this country. Yeah. But in financial news, the Harrison poll found 45% of Americans say their financial security worsened in 2025. This matters because perception drives behavior, even with official economic measures differing. You know, part of that was the government shutdown. The other part of that is the amount of spending and the amount of money that we're sending outside of this country to other places, bailing out other countries instead of taking that money and using it to, you know, fund programs and fund infrastructures that strengthen the country that we live in. I know economists going to tell you, okay, we created 5 million jobs this month. Shit. At the same time, you're not talking about the ones that you got rid of. Right? So they created so many jobs, but they shut down so many government offices during when our president first came and shit. They telling you they created jobs to make it look like something good is happening in this country, and it's not. You just reestablishing the jobs that were already here, and people were suffering from that. Because imagine if you sit 3, 4, 5 weeks without a check coming in, and you still got to do your daily life, provide daily resources for everybody in your family. You know, God knows whether somebody's taking care of mother or father in a nursing home or anything like that. And if you don't have a livable minimum wage, then that's a whole nother strike against that. Why people feel financial strain because I'm barely making ends meet. I'm living paycheck to paycheck, and even in a 2-house income, it's still a struggle. You know, that's the reality of that. You know, people still got up because you got to put a roof over your head to provide. But I mean, shit, do you really believe that this country is on the uptick economically? You really feeling the residuals of what the economy was like during COVID, because everybody had to sit home then and go into their savings and all of that until you was able to go back to work, until you was able to go back to school. You had to go to school online and shit, but I mean, until you was able to get back to normality. 18, 19, COVID 20. 18, 19, COVID 20, those particular years. Some people couldn't even go to work, hell, let alone go outside. Quarantine in the house. Can't move around. Had to collect unemployment and all of that shit right there because your job was gone. So I won't totally blame it on the president that we have now. Is that, well, maybe so, because that thing came into play when he was president the first time. So you catching the residuals, you know, and you also have to remember that whatever Trump is doing right now, we could think that we feeling the brunt of it right now. We're really not. That's where preparation comes in. That you really not. You feel me? Because it's still gonna take another 4. And most people know that it takes time for the policies of the previous president to kick in. So shit, when Trump going out of office and shit, we'll probably still be catching the wave of what Biden put in place, the unknown shit that we don't know. Okay? It's a back and forth thing that happens, but I mean, we shall see. And even in that particular case, if you have come into a place where you, like here in Florida, the minimum wage is going up. Not by a whole fucking lot, but it's going up. You feel me? And even if you are privileged to get a raise or a bonus or something like that, and you feel like you getting ahead, you got to still remember what Brian said earlier. I like the way gas prices is going down, and it is going down, but shit, it doesn't stay down. It might go down for a couple of days, and then that's it to jump back up. So in those particular cases, you made a little more money, but everything's still high. Inflation still exists. Everything's still through the roof. Yeah. I don't even know what the number is on how many people travel, but I'm sure that number went down. You don't get a chance. You can't. A lot of people didn't travel this year. I know that shit because hell, I saw the highways. You know, but the number's high. Food, eggs still cost $12. And I know that shit crazy when you hear that, but an egg still costs $12 somewhere. Gas is still, oh shit. I'll give you the perfect example. I almost wanted to turn around and come back home. But I was riding with my partner in Miami. We was just hanging out, and we got right by the airport. And as we got by the airport, I looked up and I almost passed out. Shit. Gas at the airport was damn near $4.50 in Miami by the airport. Then you would be like, oh, diesel or shit like, no, this was regular unleaded gas. It might have been premium unleaded, but still. So that was $4.50. Regular gas was about $3.35, $3.40 a gallon. Because I mean, the guy at the pump, if you go to the pump, it doesn't fluctuate a whole bunch, but you can get what I'm saying. This was this was in the middle of the holiday season. Well, I mean, if you want people to purchase it and you want people to travel, you should probably bring your prices down. It didn't exist then. It just didn't happen. So wage growth, prices on the products is still high. Those fucking tariffs that the president put out didn't do nothing for the country. Even considering that they keep floating around this shit about the checks coming from all the money that those track down. And it shit, you're not gonna get it. And I mean, shit, it's tax season. If you get it, do you really want it? Because I mean, shit, they gonna get it right back. But nonetheless, man, gonna keep pushing. RICO charges. RICO charges against protesters. And I didn't even catch that one. That was wow. For me to realize RICO charges. You know what kind of time you can get for a RICO charge? If you don't know what RICO is, look it up. But you know what kind of charge you can get for a RICO charge? Young Thug was on trial, and I know that a lot of people don't know who Young Thug is. But if you know, you know. Young Thug was on a RICO, had a RICO case. And a RICO charge can potentially come along with an L. An L is life. That's what the RICO charge can get you. So some protesters in Georgia were being charged for RICO charge for protesting. I never did track down what they were protesting about. I just remember the law that said if you protest under certain premises, you could be classified as a terrorist, right? And then it was supposed to be you can only protest peacefully. Then this shit went from protest peacefully. But I believe the most recent one is that you can't protest at all. Right? Totally goes against your constitutional right and your freedom of speech. But we talked about that as well before when I told you that the attack is going to come on your freedom of speech. By the way, they started bans on SNAP benefits for those who are interested on SNAP benefits. You're not going to be able to buy certain cakes and cookies and sodas and all that shit right there going out of one of these. So that's just a head up. It just crossed my mind. You feel? But as far as these RICO charges, they took them. They charged it with RICO. Watch how you get a. Watch how this shit affects you, and then you'll see the play that the government makes. If you get certain charges, if you already have a job and your job finds out, then you could potentially lose your job. If you get these charges, then those particular charges could disqualify you for getting certain jobs. So you could lose your job, or you could be disqualified from having certain jobs. If you've never been involved in the legal system, shouts out to you because that's cool as shit that you've never been involved. But those of you that know that you've been involved in the legal system, if you don't believe me, ask a police officer something. I'm giving you a vantage point that people don't normally have. If I arrest you and charge you, when you go to jail, even if that charge is dismissed, legal system never tells you that you still have to go and have a lawyer put in put in paperwork to have that removed from your record, scratched from your record. If not, when you go to get a job or your job finds out that you went to jail or you have been arrested and they see that RICO charge on there, that's a federal offense. The federal offense keeps you from having certain jobs and it causes you to lose your job. Now, once they charged him, a Georgia judge dismissed those charges. And I mean, he said, you know what? It says here protesting. And then it also said the Georgia judge dismissed racketeering charges against dozens of protesters. Shit. We know what racketeering is. If not, I don't have time to explain it to you. Get your dictionary and go find out what racketeering is. Racketeering is not racketeering and protesting in no form or fashion, from my belief, coincide together. I just don't believe it. We live in a country that was based and grew off of corruption, mobs being able to pay out judges and all that shit. You saw the movies. That's just not a joke. It's for real. So if I can't get you mentally, then I need to get you. There has to be a way for me to get you. And even if it doesn't stop you, I have to slow you down. That's what the fuck happened with those people charges. Because you know it's going to affect you. You know it's going to affect you. A lot of people that live in America or live on this planet know. Once that record get tampered with, you get criminal charges on that record, it could probably go left. It could probably go right. You know? So, oh, what a crazy world we live in. Shit's not getting better. It's getting worse. We into the first day of the year and it's tending to look like it's going to be chaotic. This is Trump's first year. So we're looking for that State of the Union soon. Maybe not right away, but the State of the Union is coming. You know, stay tuned with me because I can assure you that we not done. There's a lot of spectacular shit going on this season on the I See What You're Doing podcast. I got some cool fucking people coming along. I'm lining them up as we speak. Black History Month is coming up. And I don't even have the book here. It's in my, here go one of them. The book is in the room. It's the story of the Little Rock Nine. If you're not familiar with the Little Rock Nine is centered around the first 9 African American kids who were allowed to go to a all-white school. I can tell you it was madness as I went through the military had to be called in, the National Guard had to be called in. These are the reasons why these are the reasons why history is trying to be rewritten, because I got the book and some of the pictures in there. I'm trying to track down whether I can identify who the people are in those books that were against those little black babies going to that all-white school. And if I can find out the names of them, I'm going to post those names on the podcast during Black History Month. This book right here, for those who can see it, those who can't, it's titled Mississippi Trial 1955 by Chris Crow. And I normally don't give that kind of, I normally don't hold up books like that on the podcast. You got to pay me. You feel me? But because of the information in that book, I wanted to let you know what Black History Month on the podcast was going to look like. And it's not going to start in Black History Month. Shit, we got a week before Martin Luther King. Brian, I love you, man. You feel me? Love you, man. Send me your information, or get with BFAM. Send me your information, and I got something for you. I'm going to send you out the outline for the first show from last year. That's for my guy Brian, man. So I'm going to send that out to you. If you get that information to me, man, you can email it to the Iseewhatyoudoin Podcast, Iseewhatyoudoin podcast @gmail.com. Send that information and we'll get that in the mail to you, Brian. I'm gonna sign it and put a cool message on there just for you, bro. I'm gonna autograph it and put it on and send it directly to you, bro. That's for Brian. You feel me? Real talk. But this book outlines the Emmett Till trial. So this one outlines the Emmett Till trial. So that's what that is, man. And with 3 minutes left, I just want to give y'all this right here before I go. This is a big year. This is a new year. Here on this podcast, I got some amazing plans for this particular podcast. With the help of BFAM, my goal is to take this podcast as far as I can go, all over the world. We already all over the world, but shit, I'm planning on going on the road and getting in some cities and going on location and doing this shit to other places. You feel me? That's my idea. And the way that you can support me, man, is to share this, man. Tell somebody tell somebody we're here every Thursday at 5:00. You feel me? Jump in DC inbox and make him have to erase a whole bunch of emails concerning this show. You feel me? We definitely want some sponsors, man. So if you want to support this show and keep this content going out, again, hit the email, hit DC email, man. Shit, it's gonna be a fun ride, man. And because I had a chance to kick off Man Cave Thursdays here on the show, I wanted to be a problem child and start some shit. So shit been started. Feel me? You guys are the worst up. There's some shit coming behind me. Just know that it's gonna be a fun Thursday, man. So stay tuned all night long. Stay locked in to BFAM 109.6 in Atlanta, Georgia, and stay locked in to the YouTube page and to Facebook because we just getting started. I love y'all, man. I swear to God, I do. I thank God that we all made it to 2025. I'm gonna sip on this coconut water, man. I'm gonna get out y'all way. I'm gonna make way for every motherfucking body that's coming behind me. Until we see each other next Thursday, man. Keep it 100, man, with everybody you see.
www.enter-effect.com for more info, beats, and designs. Beats available for $30 and exclusive starting now for $50.
Make your next move. Shine along with your girls, I do my do. So we can all go. Hey man,